Takemichi opens his eyes to find himself in a karaoke room with a half-naked girl on him. As the room phone rings and Emma picks it up, Takemichi runs shocked. Later, Ken calls Takemichi and tells him to come to Musashi's shrine as they are gathering there, and Hinata decides to go with Takemichi. As they arrive at the shrine, they see multiple people with bikes, and two start yelling at Takemichi to leave as this is Tamen gathering. Takashi, the 2nd Division captain, takes them to Manjiro, who is glad that Takemichi came. Ken comments he shouldn't have taken Hinata with him, but Takemichi explains he didn't knew it was this kind of gathering. Ken then calls Emma and tells her to protect Hinata, as she is Takemichi's girlfriend. Emma tells Hinata that she isn't interested in Takemichi. She tried to seduce Takemichi hoping Ken will get at least a bit angry, but he only cares about Manjiro, bikes, and fighting. The meeting of Tamen starts and Manjiro wants to know the gang opinion on the conflict with Mobius. Pa and Pain push Takemichi angry for what happened with Masataka. Takashi explains that Mobius leader Asanai messed with Pa's blood for something stupid. Asanai beat up his blood and raped his girlfriend in front of him, and took his money and beat up his parents and siblings too. Takashi explains that Tamen runs Shibuya, while Mobius, Shinjuku. Manjiro asks Pa what he wants to do. Pa is aware that if they fight, Tamen won't go unscathed, but he is really pissed and wishes to fight and kill them. Manjiro then yells they are gonna crush Mobius on August 3rd, the Musashi Festival. Takemichi thinks about the situation. He knows from Meldo that on August 3rd, Ken dies during internal conflict in Tamen, but now on 3rd they are going to fight Mobius. Unable to think of anything, Takemichi decides to be Ken's bodyguard. The next day, Ken declines. Takemichi wanting to know more about Mobius and returns to the present. He tells Naoto that he doesn't believe Manjiro and Ken would end in a conflict and ask him to track Asanai in order to ask him what happened between Tamen and Mobius. Asanai initially refuses to talk about Tamen's fight, however he denies Naoto's accusations that he ordered Ken's death. Asanai reveals that they didn't kill Ken, but the incident was a trigger that led to Tamen's internal conflicts, and all was planned by someone. Naoto believes Asanai as he looked quite shaken and realizes that someone used Asanai and wished to split Tamen. Takemichi then returns to the past in order to warn Manjiro. Takemichi wakes up on a bike with Akun and gets happy that Akun is still alive. He asks him if he have any dreams, and Akun reveals he dreams of becoming a hairstylist. Takemichi then leaves and goes to Manjiro. Takemichi asks Manjiro to call off the fight with Mobius, stating that someone is plotting the fight, but he can't tell him how he knows. Pa then pushes Takemichi aside, warning him that he will kill him if he says anything else. Manjiro states that they are going to fight Mobius as he made up his mind already. As Takemichi states he won't back down, Ken stops Pa, stating that maybe they need to look more into Mobius. Manjiro then wonders if Ken is against Tamen. Asanai then shows up and states they should respect as he's 2 years older, which makes Pa angry and he rushes at him, but Asanai knocks him with a punch and jokes that they need to rename to Middle School Baby Alliance. Asanai comments that he heard they are picking a fight with them, and that he decided to bring the fight to them and calls the rest of the Mobius, who surround the Tamen member. Looking at Asanai, Takemichi can believe this is the same person he met in the present. Asanai then hits Takemichi as he felt he was looking down on him. Pa then interferes and wishes to fight Asanai, and Manjiro tell the rest to just watch. Asanai takes on Pa and easily beats him. Pa apologizes to Manjiro for being worthless, but Manjiro states he didn't lose. While Mobius members mock Manjiro and the rest, he approaches Asanai and knocks him out with a single kick. Asanai manages to get up and takes a broken bottle, but as he rushes towards Manjiro, Ken manages to easily stop him. Ken then announces that Mobius will be under Tokyo Manji gang. As they hear the police approaching, everyone runs. Takemichi recalls Asanai's words that this was the trigger, but is surprised everything ended so peaceful and wonders if he is missing something. In that moment, Pa stabs Asanai in the back, which shocks everyone. Pa apologizes to Manjiro and tells them to run as he intends to turn himself in. While running, Takemichi loses consciousness. Takemichi wakes up in the hospital with Emma next to him. He wonders about Manjiro and Ken, and while crying, Emma explains that they ended up fighting due to Pa, and Tamen is now divided into the Manjiro faction and the Ken faction. Takemichi spends 3 days at home. His friends visit him and tell him that Tamen is in bad situation and is likely to split, but then start laughing and explain that Ken and Manjiro fight often. In that moment, Ken shows up bringing watermelon and shocks everyone. As they eat it, Ken tells them that Pa will be held for a year and Asanai is alive. As Ken leaves Takemichi's home, he sees Manjiro in front, and both wonder what the other one is doing there. Both state they are there to see Takemichi, who is their friend. As they continue to argue, Takemichi tries to stop them, which annoys Ken. Manjiro then takes Takemichi's bike and throws it at Ken, who dodges and the bike breaks on the wall. Takemichi gets angry for Manjiro and Ken breaking his stuff and yells at them to stop. As Takemichi tries to punch Manjiro, he dodges and Takemichi falls into the trash. Ken apologizes and asks Takemichi to calm down. Takemichi explains that they don't care about those around them and their fight will split Tommen. Manjiro informs Takemichi that he has shit on his head and then runs away with Ken as Takemichi stinks. A bit later, after Takemichi washes his hair, he joins Manjiro and Ken, who have made up and apologized for their behavior. Manjiro states he forgot for what they even fought about, but Takemichi guesses it's due to Pa, as even though he was guilty, Manjiro still wanted to help him, while Ken wanted to honor Pa's resolve. With Manjiro and Ken no longer fighting, Takemichi realizes he changed history and Ken won't die. On August 3rd, Takemichi, Hinata, Emma, and Ken go to the festival together. As it starts to rain, Takemichi and Hinata run to hide under a tree. Hinata loses balance, but Takemichi manages to catch her. While staying together, Takemichi realizes it's a good moment for a kiss and attempts to kiss her, but his phone rings. Yamagishi tells him to warn Ken to watch his back as he heard that some that support Manjiro wants to kill Ken, and even though Ken and Manjiro are good now. Takemichi hangs up the phone and apologizes to Hinata and asks her to wait for him. He goes around looking for Ken but finds some of Tommen members with a Mobius guy who gives Masataka a blade and Masataka stating that he will kill Ken. One of Masataka's guys finds Takemichi and brings him to him. After beating him up, Masataka ties Takemichi with a duct tape and leaves him. Some moments later, Hinata finds tied up Takemichi and removes the duct tape from his mouth. Takemichi starts crying, stating that he tried his best, but in the end he couldn't save anyone. If he was like Manjiro or Ken, he could have beaten them. But as he is worthless, he couldn't do anything. Hinata then kisses him, saying it was her first kiss and she gave it to him as he is special to her. Hinata frees Takemichi and he decides to go and stop Masataka. Takemichi encounters Takashi and informs him that Ken will be attacked. However, Takashi already knows, but is surprised it's Masataka and not Pain. Takashi states that everyone came to an agreement that they couldn't do anything about Pa except Pain. Elsewhere, Pain finds Ken and Emma. While looking for Ken, Takashi explains that Pain believes Tommen abandoned Pa and teamed up with some Mobius members to take out Ken. Seeing Pain, Ken knows that he isn't happy with what happened and prepares to fight him, but suddenly a Mobius member attacks him with a bat from behind. Takemichi recalls Naoto words about Ken's incident happening on a parking lot and heads towards the parking lot. They find Ken fighting numerous Mobius members. As he is getting tired, he sits on the ground and tells Takashi that he leaves things to him. A moment later, they hear a bike and recognize it. Manjiro gets off his bike and realizes he was called somewhere else so that Pain can be with Ken and break Tommen, but wonders who tricked him into doing that. Shuji reveals himself and introduces as the temporary leader of Mobius. Manjiro attempts to kick him in the head, but Shuji manages to block it. Shuji reveals that they intended to destroy Tommen by having them fight internally, but this is also fine as he can kill Manjiro by his own two hands. Shuji then calls 100 of Mobius members and warns them to not run or he will chase them and beat out all of their teeth. Takemichi realizes that he changed the events and a new conflict rises. As Mobius prepares to fight the 4 Tommen members, the rest of Tommen arrives on bikes, ready for a fight. As the fight starts, Takemichi goes around looking for Ken, wishing to protect him from Masataka. While beating down Mobius members, Manjiro approaches Pain and asks him why he attacked Ken, even though they have settled things down. Pain doesn't accept that Tommen gave up on Pa and starts punching Manjiro. Pain knows that Manjiro can beat him in a single hit, but wonders why he isn't fighting. Manjiro pulls Pain's head towards his and tells him to look at him, and if he ever smiled about Pa getting caught. Manjiro asks Pain to keep hitting him until he is satisfied, but he doesn't want to fight with his own family and wishes Pain to return to them. Takemichi eventually spots Masataka and decides to stop him, but then sees he holds a bloody blade while repeating he did it. Takemichi finds Ken's stab and informs Manjiro, who attempts to get to Ken, but Shuji gets in his way and engages Manjiro in a fight. Seeing Ken is still alive, Takemichi puts him on his back and tries to carry him to a hospital. Hinata and Emma see him and inform him that they have called for an ambulance. While waiting for the ambulance, Takemichi sees Masataka and his gang approaching. As he gets scared, Ken awakens and thanks him for helping him and tells him to take Hinata and Emma and run. He goes to Masataka and states that he isn't running away and is getting his revenge. Takemichi attempts to punch Masataka, however, he stabs him in the arm, stating that this isn't a one-on-one, but an execution. Takemichi attempts to hit Masataka, but he knocks him back. Takemichi then tackles Masataka and bites him. As Masataka hits him trying to make him let go, Takemichi manages to get on his back and starts choking him. As he doesn't let go, Masataka eventually loses consciousness and Takemichi wins. Masataka's gang attack, but moments before they reach Takemichi and Ken, Akum comes out and punches one of them, making him drop his knife. Makoto, Takuya, and Yamagishi also come out and stand in front of Ken and Takemichi. They start fighting Masataka's group, but are easily getting beaten up. Hearing the sirens, Masataka's gang decide to run, leaving Masataka behind. Hinata and Emma lead the medics to Takemichi and Ken. Meanwhile, Tommen manages to beat Mobius with only Manjiro and Shuji still fighting. Shuji is impressed by Manjiro's stamina. However, a man comes to pick Shuji as the cops are coming. While everyone is running, Shuji tells Manjiro that he is about to witness the creation of the most sinister biker gang alliance in Kanto, Valhalla, and reintroduces himself as the first vice commander of Valhalla. Ken thanks Takemichi for saving his life and tells him to take care of Manjiro. In that moment, he gets cardiac arrest and the doctors start to give him CPR. They reach the hospital and immediately take him to the operation room. One by one, Takemichi's friends and Tommen members arrive. Manjiro tells them that Ken is a man of word and he promised him that they will rule the world together. Thus, he won't die and they need to believe in him. As the operation ends, the doctors come out and inform the group that the operation was a success and Ken is alive. They head out to tell the rest about Ken, however, Pain states he cannot face them. Takashi tells him that they know he did it for Pa's sake, but the one that was thinking the most about Pa was Ken. Learning that, Pain agrees to apologize to everyone. Going outside the hospital, Takemichi realizes it's past midnight and it's August 4th, which means Ken didn't die on August 3rd and his mission is success. The rumors of the fight have brought more rumors and Takemichi has become a legend for stopping the fight. As he enjoys his newfound fame, he don't want to go back to the present. He goes to visit Ken but ends up being scolded for how lame he looks and acts. Ken hands Takemichi Tommen's uniform and states that it's from Manjiro and that it belonged to him from when he first formed Tommen. Takemichi is free to decide if he wants to wear it, but Manjiro wanted Takemichi to have it as he saved Tommen. Ken then tells Takemichi to go see Manjiro on the roof, where he probably sleeps. Going on the roof, Manjiro wonders why Shuji wanted to cause inner conflict within Tommen and why he used Masataka to kill Ken. He finds it even more mysterious that Takemichi realized all that before anyone else and tried to stop it. Manjiro wonders who Takemichi is. As Takemichi tries to come up with an answer, Manjiro mocks him for his lame outfit and thanks him for saving Ken. Takemichi decides it's time to return to the present. He goes to Hinata's place to see Naoto. Since he got Hinata in a mess, he tries to make up for it and gives her a 4-clover necklace. As Naoto shows up, Takemichi shakes his hand and returns to the present. He believes that since Ken is alive, Hisaki won't become number 2. Manjiro won't change due to Ken's death. Akun won't die and Hinata won't get killed. As he returns in the present, he checks his phone, but can't find Naoto in his contacts. He sees a notification reminder for scheduled meeting in the salon and wonders what it is. Going at the salon, he finds Akun working there and wonders if he became hairstylist. Akun states he just started and is only an assistant. Takemichi gets happy that he manages to change the present. He then receives a call from unknown number and realizes it's Naoto, who realizes that Takemichi changed the present and wants to go see Hinata. As he rides in Naoto's car, Naoto tells him that the incident that killed Hinata did not occur in the current future. They arrive at Hima's apartment with Takemichi excited, saying that it is a dream come true. Suddenly nervous, he tells Naoto that he cannot see Hinata, and that Naoto should visit her alone, as she does not know that he saved her, and they are now strangers to each other. As he prepares to return to his life, he bumps into a grown-up Hinata, who remarks that he shows up at the weirdest times. Eventually, back in Hinata's apartment, Naoto decides to leave, but Takemichi desperately begs him to stay as he is extremely nervous. Hinata laughs at Takemichi's reaction, remarking that he hasn't changed, whilst Takemichi notices the 4-leaf clover necklace Hinata wears. Naoto decides to bring the group elsewhere as an attempt to lighten the atmosphere. In the car is equally as awkward as in the apartment. Suddenly, Naoto is being called by the police. He decides to leave his car to Hinata and will come back for it tomorrow. Hinata decides to stop the car at a car park, and she asks Takemichi to walk with her. Hinata tells Takemichi that the park evokes memories, specifically a memory of her with someone she liked on Christmas Eve. Takemichi replies that he cannot believe that anyone would dump her, and Hinata, crying, wonders why she was dumped. Takemichi comes to the realization that Hinata is talking about him. Overwhelmed with this information, he rushes to the bathroom confused as his memories do not align with this information. As he walks out of the bathroom, he encounters a man who remarks in surprise that Takemichi is not in the car. Though confused at first upon seeing the man's hand tattoos, Takemichi realizes that the man is Shuji and gets an uneasy feeling from this. He rushes to Naoto's car, where Hinata is sitting in, just in time to see a car driving into it. Feeling horrified, Takemichi rushes towards the crash. The driver of the car turns out to be a gravely injured Akun, who asks Takemichi why he is not in the car. Akon says the same things as he did during his previous encounter with Takemichi in the future, wondering when things went wrong, how he came to fear Kazaki, and implores Takemichi to save everyone, while Takemichi screams in despair as the events turned out the same. Akon's car explodes and Takemichi rushes to Hinata, who is still alive. As Takemichi attempts to get Hinata out from the car in order to escape the impending fire from the explosion, she thanks him. Hinata is gravely injured and has lost all feeling in her legs. Crying, Takemichi crawls into the car, hugging Hinata and confessing that he has and will always love her. Feeling the approaching fire, Hinata pushes Takemichi away, smiling at him, before the car explodes and implodes into flames.